Episode of the CattleUSA Daily Podcast. Today, we are talking something that tends to be one of my soapboxes, and I'm going to try my hardest to stay off of my soapbox today. I have an outline in front of me, and we're going to talk the real of AI. What does that mean? What is it? What does tech look like in ag right now? And what's going to be happening in the next 5 years? Are we going to see robots checking calves and computers buying feeder cattle? That's crazy. But AI is growing faster than you think. The reality of it is, we're not going to be seeing robots checking calves or computers buying feeder cattle. At least not anywhere that's not a research facility that is researching those things currently. But if you are wondering, what does automation look like? What does AI look like? And what do I need to be focusing on in the next 5 years? This episode's for you. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Here's the thing. We have a lot of AI and automation that's already here and that is already a big part of the cattle industry. So what's here and what is worth watching? So here's some examples of automation that's actually working. Because oftentimes when you hear the words AI, tech, automation, our minds automatically get turned off. And I want you to remember how often we are using this already in ag and how over the next 5 years, we will have a lot of things be introduced. And that's extremely exciting because we could get things like this. Here are some things that are actually working. We're seeing a big adoption and great success with auto waterers with alert systems on them. So alert systems, not necessarily for when your cattle are drinking and how much they're drinking, but more for, hey, it's alerting you on your cell phone if a pipe freezes and it's no longer functioning, or if a pipe bursts, or things like that. Alerts in those situations. The next thing that's really working is GPS guided tractors and feed systems. Almost every single large feedlot uses these. It might not be a full-blown GPS-guided tractor, but you're at least using some feed systems that have a ton of automation in them to take out that human error. And we've already seen the millions of dollars that are being saved by having systems in place that take out the human error side. We're also seeing things like cattle scales, EID tracking, and just other remote monitoring softwares that have seen some great success in recent years. At the end of the day, there are always going to be pros and cons of automation in rural settings. You're going to see things like, yeah, you might save on labor, but what's Wi-Fi look like? Do we have connectivity? What is the cost? Those are all questions that are really important to ask. And here's another thing. AI is very quietly involved in so much of agriculture, and we need to de-sci-fi it, if that is even a word. It's not science fiction. It is a big part of this industry already, and it is a big part of the back end of this industry. And it is going to continue to grow and expand as years go on. We're going to see things like predictive maintenance, inventory alerts, and all of those things are things we're already using, but things that we're going to be able to continue to build and grow on. And here's the reality check, guys. You don't need flying drones doing chores, although that's the reality of it is with how fast technology's gone. Heck, by the time I'm 50 years old, we might have flying drones doing chores. What you do need, though, is you need tools that reduce human error and reduce labor strain. Whether you are a one-man operation or a 50-man operation, it applies to you. I also really want to emphasize that tech could save you money, or it could also make you more. Data collection done well from all of this technology that we have with things like feed efficiency, rate of gain, market timing, all of these things can save you money and or make you more. And then we go into things like herd health monitoring tools for early illness detection, or just illness detection in general, or even just vaccination protocols. If we are leaning into the use of EID tags in those aspects, all of the software systems that we have in place that we can then put in our vet barns and sync to those individual cattle, sync to our online systems, the amount of time and human error that then saves, massive. And then I think it's important with this to remember to sort the hype from the help. You got to ask questions for your own operation. Every operation is going to be different. And so here's the thing. On an average operation, are you going to need a scanning software that scans an EID tag and tells you exactly how much water each of your individual cattle are drinking throughout the day? Probably not. On the average operation, hey, in a feedlot setting, that might be extremely helpful. In a scientific setting, extremely helpful. On the average operation, cow-calf operation, feeder operation, probably not, or at least not yet. But do you need better record keeping that's mobile and shareable? Absolutely. Every single one of you does. I am so sick and tired of the only record keeping being done is the piece of paper in the feed truck that's had coffee spilled on it 6 times. Because as someone in the family who takes that spilled on piece of paper and puts it into the computer, it's not fun for anyone. So do you need record keeping that's mobile and shareable? Yes, every single one of us do, because that's something that can save time, money, labor, and just get you ahead of the times. Because if you are an early adopter of something like that, not even an early adopter, gosh, we've had online record keeping softwares around for 10 plus years now. And so if you are someone who is adopting that as part of your operation now, it is only going to continue to reap the benefits for you. One major thing that you need to look out for when you are talking tech is if this is a software system that is going to require a full-time IT guy on your operation or you to be on the phone with someone every day, that doesn't solve a problem. That requires one. That makes a problem. So it's not worth it. It is not worth it in those situations or scenarios. Wait until that tech or that opportunity is to a point where it is actually going to solve a problem for you and your operation. So should you buy into tech now or should you wait? I think it's important that each and every operation looks at their own standings and their own businesses as an individual entity. Just because it works for your neighbor or your friend or someone across the states doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to work for you. So here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Does it save time and labor or improve decision making? If it does, that might be something you want to lean into. We all know all too well that labor is a major strain in this industry right now. So is there a way that we can save a few hours of our days so that we can do more as individual people? Or does it just make your decision making easier? When it comes to breeding cattle, are you now able to spend a day making breeding decisions instead of 3? Are you now able to down your sire book to 5 really quickly by just putting some filters on and calling it a day and letting AI or letting an automation software go in and do all the hard work for you? And then you can sit there as the human and double check all of it and look at it and say, okay, it got me down to 5. Now I can be the person that gets it down to 3. The next question, is it compatible with what you already do? Is it something that is easily going to integrate into your daily life? Because I'm going to talk about this a ton, but small steps beat big overhauls every single time. This needs to be something that you can slowly integrate into your operation, not something that you have to do a complete overhaul all at once, because that's not going to be sustainable for you. It's not going to be sustainable for anyone that works for you, and it is going to cause more stress than it's worth. And oftentimes what I see with people that are anti-AI or anti-automation and anti-tech and ag are either people that are still having a hard time running their iPhone or people that have done a big overhaul and then stressed themselves out with it and tried to do too much at once. You don't need to do everything at once. You need to pick one thing, overhaul that well, and then move on to the next. Because no one wants to deal with the stress of going through a breakdown or going through tech not working in the middle of really important seasons. So is it compatible with what you already do? And then number 3, can I get support if it breaks? If something doesn't go right, what does the support system and software look like? Do they have 24/7 tech support? If not, do they have people that can come to your ranch and fix things there? What does that look like? Because we are ranchers, not IT professionals. We need to be ranchers open to tech, open to AI, and open to automation. But that does not mean that you need to go to Stanford and get your tech degree. It's not practical at the end of the day for anyone. So in the next 5 years, we can expect AI in behind the scenes roles. What do I mean by this? I mean, we are not going to see flying drones doing our chores. We are going to see behind the scenes roles where we can implement automation easily and use this technology to our advantages, making more decisions or making more informed based advice that they can give to us. And then we can be the decision makers. So you're going to see things in kind of like what I touched on earlier. You're going to see things in breeding decisions. You're going to see a lot of tech and AI in feed formulation. We're going to see it in weather, and we're probably going to see a lot of it in market forecasting as we continue to grow and develop these products. In my personal business, gosh, I use AI every single day. Every single day. ChatGPT and I are literally best friends. If you talk to anyone, anyone in my life, I promise you, they will say the exact same thing, that I use ChatGPT like a lifeline. I use it so much, I pay for it. Like, I have the pro version of it because I use it so much. And it has made my business come to a point where I, as an individual, can do the work of 4 or 5 people and not have to pay 4 or 5 people to do that and not have to train 4 or 5 people to do that. I do a lot of things on my computer or in technology or in marketing and sales and all of those things. So there's a lot of opportunity where tech has already been implemented for years. And so for the average rancher, it might not look like you are replacing 4 or 5 people, but it will look like you are able to get a few hours back in your day, or you're able to make quicker decisions. Something that may have taken you 3 hours previously is only going to take you 30 minutes or an hour now. All of the research that I am able to do, all of the information that I am able to gather because of AI that takes my work out of it in the front end is phenomenal. I'm still the decision maker. I'm still the one going through and making the decisions, but I no longer have to be the one doing all of the research. I no longer have to be the one that is compiling all of the studies or doing all of the things like that. I now am able to lean on technology and systems that are able to assist me in all of those aspects and ways, because that is the reality of it, is AI is not coming for our ranch. It is coming in an aspect that is going to continue to help us grow as operators, as ranchers, and lean into the future. AI, whether you like it or not, is the future. And we all have got to get on board. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a scenario like when Google first came out in the 1990s, I believe is when Google came out. And everyone thought it was the devil and was like, oh my gosh, run away, don't use it, don't use it. It's not the thing. It's got glitches. It's not working. All of these things. And then you're going to be that person that didn't use it for 5 years and you're left behind where everybody else already knows how to use Google and you're the one still trying to figure it out 5 years later. You will be left behind while everyone else already has it figured out and understands the basics of AI because we took the time to grow with it instead of waiting for it to be perfect. Is AI perfect? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But it saves me more hours at the end of the day than it costs me. There are times where I will be proofing something and it gets something wrong. I then have to take the time to go and correct that. But all of the time that it saved me by getting the other 90% right, oh my gosh, it saved me hours and hours and hours of work and labor. And don't even get me into the mental health aspects of then saving time and labor. Because if we're able to take some time back for ourselves and be doing what we love, instead of having to stick behind the computer and do all of the mundane software things, like no one wants to sit there and organize their accounting software. That's another aspect that I use my AI a ton. I have an AI automated accounting software. So it links to my bank account. And then for the first few months, I had to go in and manually do things while it was learning what goes in what buckets. And now I have my QuickBooks set up on an automatic thing where it just goes and does it for me. If I go and spend $60 at Casey's, It knows that I'm getting fuel and it's putting it in the fuel bucket, and I don't have to go in and organize anything anymore. It's pretty stinking phenomenal, because guess what? I hate taxes. I hate tax season. I hate all of it. And so for me, that brings me joy to my life, and it helps my sanity because I am able to lean on technology where it is doing good. So don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of AI. Don't be afraid of technology, because all of our research institutions are leaning heavily into it right now. And that's another thing. Our everyday average ranchers are not the ones that are being the people that are the test dummies and the lab rats on all of this. When it's coming to the market, it's gone through multiple years of testing. And so lean into what our research institutions are doing. If you're in Kansas, lean into Kansas State. What are they doing? Lean into your extension agents. Ask them, like, really just put your finger on the pulse and get involved in this so you don't get left behind, and start looking at your operation now and asking yourself, where can I start involving technology and AI in my operation that makes sense for me? It's not going to make sense for everyone, but find places that you can start implementing it in your life right now so that you are not that person in 5 years that is left behind. The reality of it is, AI is not coming for the rancher. It is coming for the clipboard. And that might not be a bad thing. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the CattleUSA Daily Podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope I didn't get too off topic or tangenty at times, because this is something I'm passionate about. I love technology. I love AI. I love what it can do for our industry. And this is kind of one of my soapboxes, like I said in the beginning. So I hope that I didn't go too off topic with you guys and was able to leave you all with some great things to think about and some ways that you can start implementing AI into your operations today. So without further ado, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Like, subscribe, rate, review, do all the things. Seriously, I appreciate it so, so much if you just take a few seconds out of your day to go and leave a 5-star review, like this episode, whatever that may be. We really appreciate it here at the team. So thank you so much again for listening to this episode, and we'll see you all tomorrow on another one. Have a good one, y'all.